Hi everyone, my name is Cherie Vitae. I am a stage manager in New York City. I work on Broadway. I've worked on 10 Broadway shows, currently working on an off-Broadway show, and I'm here today to help you learn about all the different technologies that I use. And I'm trying to give you information of stuff that will be free and easy. That's the best part. All right, let's go. One of my favorite resources is Google Drive. If you've never used Google Drive, you just have to open a Google account, and then you have all of these things that you could use. There's documents, there's sheets, and all of these are all free to use. So this is like if you want to open a Word document, this is a kind of like Excel. This is PowerPoint, which I also use. I also have a full folder of templates. If you ever need, you can go to my website and it's all down here free for you to click on, or just come to this templates folder and use whatever you like. So let's start from the very beginning. You get a show, you know that you're doing a show. I come into Google Drive and I just make a new folder and I will name it whatever that show is. Let's say it's a cabaret review of musical numbers. I always like to put the year first because that is the easiest way, the month, and then we'll call it concert series. Create the folder. And there you go, you have your very first thing. So you could come in here, you could start creating new folders, cast and company, and just start creating whatever it is you think you'll need. Contact sheets, schedules. So let me populate this and I will show you all of the different folders that I use. As you can see, it's quite a lot of folders and quite a lot of things that stage managers have to deal with. So in terms of populating all of these, you put your scripts in where you have to, you'll put signage for the theater space or like names. For the SM, you could put stuff that's just for the stage managers to know about, and everything else is mostly filed by departments. Let's say you're creating a script from scratch. That's a lot of work. I create a brand new document, and then I come in here and I name it whatever it is with script on the end. Now, usually what you want to do also is just put in what version it is, just so you know what date you're working off of. So I'll put in V07, which is the month, and then I'll put 08. I'll also come in here and I'll do a title. So 2026.07 concert series. Now let's talk about the fun things of technology here. So this up here is called your ruler. Up here, all of these numbers. And you can, in Google Docs, actually come in and do different tab stops. So you could come in here, add a right tab stop at the end there, bring it over, and now when you hit tab, it'll tab all the way across. So what you could do, go to Format and go to Page Numbers right there. So we have the position, we come in here, I can go Apply, and now I'll have my page numbers on every page, which is super helpful when you are creating a script so everyone knows the pagination. I also add a center stop, so let me tab over again, and then I'll put version 2026.07.08 so we know what version we are working off of. Now for this, I usually like to make it gray, probably right here, above the orange sounds good. There you go, the start of your new script. All right, now what? Now you can come in here, you can use the center tab, you can change your font sizes. July 2026, that looks better. Now you're welcome to follow along as I do this, that way it's more hands-on. So you can also change the zoom here, so you can look out on what it looks like. Concert series, and you can make it as beautiful as you want. You can change the font, whatever it is you want to do, go for it. And then let's make this nice and big. There you go. Great. So that's your cover page right there. Act 1. Now what do? You have your lyrics. So let's say we just open up with a song. Lights up. And once you get into the nitpicky of it, you can come in and actually change different things that you want to do within here. So maybe that'll be italicized. Maybe that'll be over. Lights up. And the song starts. Who sings it? Come in here. It depends on what you like to do. Some people like it in the middle. Let's say John Andrew sings this. Bold. Check this. This is Arial 15. I'm going to change this font. Times New Roman 12. Great. So you start here and you build a script like this. Just one page at a time. For lyrics, I prefer just all uppercase. Oops. There. So this is just a start. I'm not going to go through the whole script. However, this is how you start getting a script like this. If you are making your own calling script and you want to do it digitally, what you should do is make a copy of this. So you could come, let's say this whole script is finished. You can make a copy and you could say concert series SM script. And this way you can edit all of this without messing up the pagination of everyone else. Now what I like to do is highlight all of it and just bring this caret tab all the way to about 4. You're going to have to come in and clean stuff up a little here, you know, put it on the next line and work like that. So you'll see that down here, the pagination is already different from this document. This is still on page 2. However, this has already run into page 3. So what I like to do too is come in here. You can drop a little tab. Come over. And then I can put page 3. So I know that page 3 starts after here if you are all working off of the same script with your director and your cast. And that way you'll always go, oh, we're actually on page 2. And you'll know that this is still on page 2, even though it says 3 up here. So Act 1 lights up. Let's say you are in tech and you want to start your queuing script. I bring this over and I drop some little tabs in here. So I'm going to put a left tab stop on the 5 and I could put my cues, lights, let's start with 10. And I could put another tab here. I say once audience settles. Underline, italicize, make it a little smaller. And you can format this however you want. Everyone has different ways of doing their script formats. I like to put my lights in yellow, because yellow for lights is how I think about it. And I highlight it actually. There it is. So I know that that's a light cue. And this is actually how I built my last script that I'm working on, was all in this, in literally Google Word. And again, you can adjust your margins to wherever you'd like. Let's say there is a cue here after sun, or on the word sun, maybe there's a fun light cue that happens. So I could copy this, I bracket the word sun. I do have to bring this tab over. I create another tab here like I did, and bam, it goes over. Let's say this is lights 11. I also bold, underline, and I highlight this. So now I know that my cue is there. Oh, let's change this to 11. There you go. And this is how I build my script. Hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to always ask or email. I just really like this because I can also, let me change this one back. I can just highlight and put this back so it's still beautiful. Yeah. The cool thing about this is I can now share this up here with people I'm working with. And that way, let's say the designer asks, oh, where do you call that cue again? Boom. It's in my book. I can see it. They can see it. And that way everyone is on the same page, which is always what you want and what I keep repeating. All right, and there you have it. We already populated the scripts folder. So let's go back. Let's start from the top. Artwork and logos. Any artwork you have, any logos you have for the show, you put in here, and that way you can use it for your paperwork. So once I have my logo available, I can just drag it right in here, and that way I can always easily assess it. Boom. So let's get breakdowns for now. Let's move to calendars. What I like to use actually is Google Calendar, but done with Apple calendars. If you don't have a Mac, that's okay. This is the current show that I'm working on right now. I do it by month. And I can come in here and I can put in different information of stuff that's happening. And I don't know if you can see down here, there are different calendars that I use. So when I come in, I set up different calendars for everyone. There's a cast calendar that only goes to the cast. There's a production calendar. There's a stage management calendar that only the stage managers have. And these are all shared with different people. I really love Google Calendar because 1, you could sync it to your phone. 2, it's information that everyone has and updates at the same time, which is great. So you could come in here and you could actually print a calendar like this. You could change it from your day. You could do a weekly. I prefer months for calendars because that's the easiest to look at right there. Now, unfortunately, in Google Calendar, there's not as much customization available as you would in Apple, but you could still do it like this and then add your header and footer. So let's say you only wanted to print the cast calendar. You can come in and unselect all of these and then hit print. And now it will only print the calendars that you have selected over here. And that way you could just print the cast calendar for the cast. So here it is. You could rotate it and there you go. You could pop in your logo somewhere if you really wanted to, or even better, start a new Google Doc. Our favorite thing. Go to File, go to Page Setup, and you want to change it to Landscape. Let's say, again, titling 2026-07 Concert Series Calendar. I come in here, I could take a screenshot and paste it in here. And now I can add my logos. Insert image from my drive. Go to my drive, go to the concert series, artwork and logos. And now I can insert this image and let's see, in front of text and move it up here. Bam. And maybe put it in the header. You might have to double click up here in the header to open it. And then you could take this and drag it oh so gently over. There you go. And now you have a calendar with your logo. Oops, that got dragged up there. You can always Control Z or Command Z to undo. And there, you have your monthly calendar done. Again, bold, use the tabs if you want, or just do a center adjustment. And also, whenever you do documents, I really love putting the version of it. And that way you can tell what version you're up to. So I come in here, I come to the footer, I go over to this justified, and I put V 2026.07 and today's date. That way everyone is on the same page. And there it is, your production calendar. Done. So if you do want to create a calendar, you can come in here and you can go to other calendars. There's a little plus button and you'll go to create new calendar. And within here, I like to put an asterisk. That way it's at the top of the list. And that's what's happening the soonest, 2026-07 concert series. Or if you already know what it is, you could do a shortcut. So let's say I put 2607 concert series. Cast calendar for concert series for July 2026 concert series. And there you go. Your calendar is created. When you go back now, it should pop up. There it is. Okay, so now you can come in here and let's say we can create an event together, right? So, rehearsal. You can come in, you can put it in the different days and times, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., let's say. Great. And you can even add in the location. And you can add so much information down here. And then I'm going to hit save. And there it is. So now that you've added an event here from create, event, rehearsal, you can now just duplicate this. And you can come in, and duplicate. If you're using Apple, it's a lot easier to duplicate, but you could just come in and do this and populate your rehearsals that way. And also with these, you could invite someone to the whole calendar and they can see. You can add the location. If someone wants to zoom in, you are able to do that. You can also put in any information you have, and so everyone is looking at the same information, and no one's ever gonna be like, oh, when is rehearsal? It's all on the calendar. Now let's go down to cast and company. This is one of my favorite things to do. It is an emergency information sheet, which will then help you populate the contact sheet. So a lot of stage management is like finding things that you have to solve and then using whatever you have. Again, Google currently is all free. So this is forms.google.com that you can go to, and you can create a form and you put the show name, you have your show email if you do, and this just has people's names, their contact information, and you can adjust this to whatever you need. Let's say you have kids in the cast, you can put the parents' names, you can ask for that, any sort of allergies, and I'm happy to send anybody this template as well. So in here, you can also start a new spreadsheet and make your contact sheet this way. So here's a sample contact sheet, again, naming it, and also the title up above. And if you want, you can also insert your logo in here. Image, in cell. And again, to artwork and logos, and bam. There it is. Amazing. So you can come in here, let's say Andrew Morrison. You can add whatever it is you'd like. He, him. Director. And then jm@mail.com. And then here you can put a phone number. Let's say 876, and we'll just keep doing that. 8767. Great. Now, a few things you might not know about Excel. These are frozen lines here that you can drag down, and that way when you scroll, you'll still be able to see everything up here. And then you could also pull this, so you have a frozen column here. So when you move the screen across, everything will still be there. So what I like to do sometimes here is, are they coming to first rehearsal? Let's say. I don't know why it's so huge. Let's change that. Bold, and we can also unwrap the text there. Great. So once you have it populated, you can also use this column to then mark down different things. It's one of my favorite ways of keeping track. So, do they want a printed script? So that way everyone is working off of one document, and that's my favorite way. So anybody on your team, anyone up above, if they have a question, they can come in here and they can, let's say, yes and yes, and you can easily see what the information is. Now, the other thing that's really amazing is that Google Sheets is almost like Excel. So you could do all of these different formulas. Here, I can put count if, and it'll select in the row. Let's make sure it's the right row. We're in row I right now. It'll count everything in this row if it's an X. And so, do they want to print a script? How many scripts do I have to print? It's all gonna count for me as I go down and mark who wants a script there. It's really amazing. And even here, will they be on the report distribution? Report distro, question mark? Do they want the daily schedule? So again, with this, it's whatever you need for the show itself that you can put into one easy document that most people have access to. Most people, I don't mean cast, I don't mean every single person, I mean higher ups. Also, if you've never used this paintbrush tool, it's great. It pastes your formats. Boom, right there. All right, we've talked script, we've talked calendars, we've talked contact sheet. Let's talk about scenic stuff. So let's say you have a set for the show. What's the easiest way to do that? You might have a ground plan, but then let's say it's a concert series and you have the first song has 3 microphones, the second song, they're adding a stool. What's the best way to keep track of that for your entire team? Again, Google. So I've come into the scenic folder, and here I'm going into Google Slides and just a blank presentation. Oh, I don't need any of that. So let's get out of here. Let's just copy our script. July, I'm trying to look behind my phone and come in here. Perfect. Okay. Haha. Again, make sure you name everything what you want it. Make it consistent. Concert series. Scene by scene. I'll change this as well. Great. So the great thing with a scene by scene, you can come in here, add a new slide, plus, there it is. And let's say your stage is, you have a ground plan, someone gives you the ground plan, but let's just make one for now. Shapes, here, this is your stage. We can take out nothing. We can add, maybe there's a set of stairs here where people exit and enter. Okay, again, nothing. Copy paste. Come here, make it smaller. That's the staircase unit. Perfect. Almost perfect. Okay. Copy. Maybe there's another set of stairs on this side. Great. So let's say that this is your stage, right? This is the audience, and that's upstage. That's usually how I like to do it, the audience down there. So this could be your template right there. I'm gonna insert a text box. I'm gonna say template. I'm gonna put this up here. I'm gonna select everything else. I'm just gonna make it a little bit smaller. And we'll center it. Great. Okay, now we have our template. So what you could do is come in here and you could duplicate the slide. And here, what's our first song? John Andrew Morrison is singing. Great. So we'll say song number 1. Title of song, John Andrew. We can come in, we can do different shapes. So let's say there's a microphone. You could choose whatever you want from the microphone. You could also find an image and put it in. Sometimes I just draw a little microphone there. And we'll know that if you want to get a perfect circle, you hold down Shift. So there we go. Here's the mic stand. All right, so you can make whatever image you want. So I'll come in here, I'll rotate this, put it here, and then maybe I add another little circle. Copy paste, make it smaller, hold Shift. I can combine both of these, make the color, let's say, there you go. I can make the outline black. That looks like a microphone, right? And I can group these together. Group. And there you go. One microphone for John Andrew. And as you go, you can also label all of these. So let's say I now have the next one. Duplicate slide. Here. Song number 2. Let's say by Margie. Now there's 2 microphones. So I could come in here, I could make sure I group these. They're sharing, it's a duet. Margie and Max. Copy, paste. Oop, I just moved the whole stage. Undo. Great. Copy, paste. And now you can move it over. Again, it's a little finicky, but you'll get used to it. And there, now you have scene by scene of every song. And if your director needs to change it, they can come in here. They go, oh wait, what do we need for Max and Margie again? And there you have it, right there. And this is also super helpful for the crew because it's visually much easier than reading any paperwork. If you really want, you could also add another text box, which I've done in the past. Let's say here, and say add one mic. You can change the font for it to fit, but that way, if the crew is reading it, they know what is happening from the previous scene into this one. Okay, so I've created a new document, and this is for the weekly schedule. I come in here, I have a header, I have a footer, again, subject to change every time, have your email on there, and you can insert your logo again. If it comes in like this, you could just click that and put in front of text, and then make it smaller and bring it over to the corner. There you go, now you have your logo there. I like making a weekly and a daily schedule. So as you can see, I have a version that I've mocked up, and here, all of the info is there, and you can daily just copy and paste this and put it into a new daily schedule version that you'll email out. And this is just for rehearsals. Now, what I like about this is that only people who are a core part of the production, not even the actors, because they'll get the information later, but your director, your producers, everyone else can look at this breakdown and see what is happening throughout the week. Now, the cool thing about this is you can actually come in here and let's say your director has a question. They can come in and they can comment, and down will pop this little thing, and you can @ somebody, and it'll send them an email saying, so-and-so has a question for you. Does this time work for you? ? And you can put @ I'm going to block the emails here, @ and then all of these emails will pop up. John Andrew up above. And that way, while you're working on the schedule, if anyone has any questions, instead of always coming to you, you'll be able to come in and see all of these comments. Let's see. Right here in the margin. So as you go, it'll be highlighted. Oh, so-and-so has a question about this. And you can say, yes, ! And mark as resolved. Done. I think what makes Google so amazing is that multiple people can work on it at once, as opposed to like Dropbox or email. And with all of these emails flying, there's always going to be information that's going to be missed. And so the more you have one base that people can go back to, the easier it's going to be. The other thing I really like about Google is you can do such specific timing things. So here, these are all set as times, and you can come in and with a hotkey, you can just pop in whatever time it is at the moment, and it'll calculate whatever timing you need. I'm going pretty fast, so it's about 2 seconds per click. But let's say you're doing a show timing. It tells you whatever you need to do. So a lot of these different codes, anything that'll help you, you can always Google different formulas to be able to help you out. You can also manually insert a time if you want, but this is another one of my favorite tricks as well. So let's say you want to know how long each song is or how long each act is. Anything that you need, like timers and stuff, you can also do within Google Docs, which is what I find so fascinating and amazing about it. I hope the Google rundown was helpful. I hope that it really helps with all of your collaboration and getting all the information together. Please reach out if you have any other questions. I'm happy to share this whole folder with all of these templates that I've made with all of you. And hopefully one day I'll get to meet you all in person. Take care. Bye.